always tease each other. He was, you know, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, you know, if I lost you and I, you know, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I could. This is a horrible thing to say.
So in my lyrics, for my first, you know, several albums, I would have all lowercase letter lyrics, except for capital letter, capital letter, capital letter every once in a while. And if they circled the capital letter and wrote them down, it's spelled out.
Hey y'all, Holly here from Hollywood Stars Unfiltered. Let me just tell you, today's tea is piping hot and it's about to get even juicier. We're diving headfirst into the drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni with none other than Taylor Swift stepping into the spotlight. Trust me, this one's gonna be more dramatic than a soap opera. So grab your popcorn because we're unraveling a story that's shakier than a game of Jenga on a speedboat. But before we dive into the madness, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell because your girl's got bills to pay, and you know I'll be back with the next meltdown as soon as it happens. So let's set the stage. Blake Lively, the queen of chic, married to Ryan Reynolds, the internet's boyfriend. She's known for her comedic flair and red carpet perfection. And then we have Justin Baldoni, the heartfelt mastermind behind those tear-jerking movies that make us question all our life choices. It looked like a match made in Hollywood heaven until it wasn't. When the project first hit the headlines, fans were practically dancing in the streets at the idea of these two teaming up. Blake with her killer wardrobe moments and Justin with his emotional storytelling. What could go wrong, right? Well, buckle up because things are about to get messy.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. Mm-hmm. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, you know, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
Talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening, and all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together, and I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there, has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being hardworking and having a vision and not settling.
Here's where it gets juicy, folks. Blake's team dropped a legal bombshell that's shaking Hollywood to its core. Allegedly, Justin might not be as squeaky clean as his public persona suggests. Reportedly, Blake's lawyers are coming in hot, and Justin's legal team is gearing up for what looks like an explosive battle. Are we surprised? Not even a little. Blake's legal claims suggest she was excluded and marginalized in ways that left her no choice but to sue. But Justin fired back with a treasure trove of receipts, meeting logs, text threads, behind-the-scenes tidbits, intended to prove that Blake wasn't just involved, but practically cheerleading the comedic stylings and flashy costumes she later claimed to despise. Oh, and did I mention Justin's newly minted $400 million defamation claim? That's a lot of zeros, my friends. Let me tell you, the internet has thoughts about this one. Twitter is blowing up with memes and hot takes. Someone tweeted, Blake looked like she was ready to spill all the tea and then some. Honestly, they're not wrong. Meanwhile, Justin's fans are out here defending him like he's the second coming. The drama is real, y'all.
I said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, you know, I got snot coming out of my nose.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. Oh, and there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just pissed me off. Those that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already, like, I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. And I just haven't had a chance to send it to you.
As the legal showdown unfolds, fans on social media are choosing sides. While Blake's supporters are shouting, "You go, girl!" others are calling her out, claiming she's playing the victim card. And Justin's defenders, they're standing by their man, insisting there's no way Mr. Nice Guy could be caught up in something so shady. Let that sink in for a minute. Just when you thought this saga couldn't get any more dramatic, enter Taylor Swift, the wild card we didn't see coming. For the uninitiated, Swift and Lively are basically Hollywood besties, shout-outs, brunch dates, adorable social media exchanges, the whole 9 yards. At first, the rumor was that Swift might have tossed in a quippy line or two for the script. But then the real bomb started dropping. Whispers emerged that Swift had seen or heard things that directly contradicted Lively's official story. Allegedly, T. Swift got uneasy about the narrative Lively was pushing and decided it was time to speak up. Because if there's one thing Taylor Swift doesn't do, it's let a friend or a piece of truth go down without a fight. The internet is ablaze with speculation. Is Taylor going to submit an official deposition, sign an affidavit, appear in person, or maybe post a cryptic Instagram story that sets the record straight?
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank, and I'm really sorry.
According to Hush Hush sources, Swift is gearing up to drop transcripts, messages, maybe even voice recordings that show Lively was gung-ho about the comedic tweaks and chic ensembles. So if Lively's lawsuit claims she was basically shoved into a corner, blindsided by big laughs and bigger wardrobes, Swift might beg to differ. In a plot twist worthy of an ET special, Swift's not just some rando with secondhand gossip, she's a key insider. Some folks think Swift might slip her documents to Baldoni's team discreetly, hoping to avoid a giant media circus. Others expect her to go big, because when Taylor goes public, she goes public. And that, my darlings, would be catnip for the tabloids. You can almost hear the "I told you so." While Baldoni isn't exactly name-dropping Swift in public statements, he's made it glaringly obvious that any new evidence is more than welcome to gallop into his legal stable. Insiders claim his lawyers are basically doing cartwheels at the idea of T. Swift's involvement. If Swift has receipts proving Lively was all in on the comedic turn, then Baldoni's defamation argument might just shoot up to VIP status in the court's eyes. And with $400 million at stake, you can bet he'll wave those text messages around like a winning lottery ticket.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which one? Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
Tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
I for sure fell short And you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize.
Meanwhile, Lively's inner circle says not so fast. Lively's team isn't sitting quietly on the sidelines. They're adamant Swift only has a partial view, maybe a text here or a voice memo there. They argue it doesn't capture the full chaotic evolution of a Hollywood production. Sure, Lively might have smiled at a witty suggestion in the early days, but that doesn't capture how the production ballooned into something that overshadowed her deeper artistic vision. They want to remind everyone that film sets evolve like crazy, and what starts as a cute inside joke can spiral into a comedic avalanche you never intended. Basically, they're saying Swift's memory is one piece of a puzzle so big we can't even see the edges yet. Meanwhile, the actual film these people signed on to make is looking like collateral damage. If you're an investor seeing the headline, Blake vs. Baldoni vs. Swift, it probably doesn't inspire warm fuzzies about box office success. The more people fixate on who fibbed, who texted what, and who threw shade, the less they care about the heartfelt romance or comedic spark that was supposed to be the whole point of the movie.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful, that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. That's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really reach in and touch somebody's heart.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Even if a settlement hushes all this drama, the public might not forget the fiasco anytime soon. Nobody wants to watch a film overshadowed by depositions and hidden text messages. In some corners of the internet, people have dubbed Swift the moral linchpin of this saga, especially after all those times she stood her ground on principle. From music rights battles to subtle star-studded breakups, if Swift truly believes Lively's telling tall tales, maybe stepping forward is her moral obligation. Then again, if she only had partial info, this could be an accidental sabotage of a friend. One thing's certain, Taylor's involvement has fans and critics reading this drama like it's the latest Swift album, searching for hidden Easter eggs in every lyric and rumor. What happens if Swift brings the receipts? Well, if it turns out Lively misled the court about her enthusiastic input, that's a massive blow to her credibility both legally and in the eyes of the public. But if Swift's evidence is more of a mild contradiction or a fleeting text, Baldoni's defamation claim might not hold as much weight. It's all about how big and how damning these so-called receipts are.
It was, I saw the red flags, but they didn't look red. They looked kind of fuchsia and cute.
So I'm feeling very overwhelmed by the fans' love for the record. I'm also feeling very soft and fragile.
And let's not forget the human factor. Even if Lively was once game for comedic glitz, she might have felt overshadowed later by Reynolds' comedic influence or Swift's star power. It's easy to love an idea at first, then watch it morph into a monster. The grand finale for now? What started as a routine creative clash escalated into a potential meltdown of epic proportion. With a superstar singer now perched at the center of the storm, Swift's involvement might crack this entire lawsuit wide open, or merely sprinkle more confusion onto an already chaotic stage. One thing's for sure, the camera lights aren't turning off anytime soon. And that's the tea, folks. Will Lively's legal team stick to their guns? Will Baldoni ride Swift's revelations into a massive courtroom victory? Will Ryan Reynolds pop out of nowhere with a one-liner to diffuse the tension? Stay tuned because in Hollywood, things never slow down, they just find a bigger stage. Before you dash off to refresh your feeds, do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with the gossip-loving BFFs in your life. Trust me, with drama this juicy, you'll want front row seats to every new bombshell. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you next time with more explosive updates from the land of stars and scandals. Until then, stay messy, stay blessed, and remember, in Hollywood, one text can change everything.